What was the Warsaw Pact's impact on freedoms? Have you ever wondered how a military alliance could shape the freedoms of millions? The Warsaw Pact, formed in 1955, was a significant player in the Cold War. This alliance included communist countries in Eastern Europe, led by the Soviet Union. Its primary goal was to maintain Soviet control and influence over these nations. The Warsaw Pact was not just about military cooperation, it was also a political tool. It ensured that member states followed the communist ideology dictated by Moscow. This meant that political pluralism was limited, and the dominance of communist parties was reinforced. One of the most notable impacts on freedoms was the suppression of political dissent. When countries like Hungary attempted to assert their independence in 1956, the Warsaw Pact intervened. Soviet troops crushed the Hungarian Uprising, demonstrating that political freedoms were secondary to maintaining the communist system. Similarly, in 1968, the Prague Spring reforms in Czechoslovakia were also met with military force. Within these member states, the communist governments, backed by the Warsaw Pact, restricted freedoms like speech and assembly. State security agencies, such as the Stasi in East Germany, monitored citizens closely. This created a climate of fear that stifled free expression and political activism. The pervasive surveillance limited personal freedoms and discouraged any challenges to the ruling parties. Economically, the Warsaw Pact countries operated under centrally planned economies. While the leadership claimed this would promote equality, the lack of political freedoms often led to economic inefficiencies. Public dissatisfaction grew, leading to movements for greater freedoms, like Poland's Solidarity movement in the 1970s and 80s. The Warsaw Pact also symbolized the division of Europe by the Iron Curtain. This division restricted freedom of movement. Citizens in Warsaw Pact countries could not travel freely to the West, limiting cultural exchange and personal liberties. From the perspective of communist leaders, the Warsaw Pact was essential for protecting socialist states from perceived external threats. They justified restrictions on freedoms as necessary to safeguard the socialist system and prevent counter-revolutionary activities. In summary, the Warsaw Pact significantly limited political and civil freedoms in its member countries. Through military interventions, surveillance, and authoritarian governance, it maintained control over the region. While it aimed to protect the socialist order, these goals often came at the expense of individual freedoms. The eventual collapse of communist regimes in Eastern Europe in the late 1980s reflected the widespread demand for greater freedoms and the failure of the Warsaw Pact to meet the aspirations of its people.